Psychotic depression can happen to anyone, and it happened to me. I was convinced that I was a terrible mother and a terrible employee and PhD student. I was convinced there was an international police operation that was investigating me and that would send me to jail overseas. I experienced extremely low energy and felt immensely guilty about small things. I was confused and paralyzed, and I didn't understand really what was happening to me. So, this is a little snapshot of my experience in the past with psychotic depression or depression with psychotic symptoms. My name is Joyce, and I'm a PhD graduate. I am a senior academic and researcher, and I'm a senior psychologist in clinical practice. I'm also an avid potter and a mom. And in many ways, I'm really not that different from you. So, in the past, I experienced psychotic depression, and I want to talk about this to help educate people and to help lift stigma on this often misunderstood and mischaracterized mental health condition. So there's some statistics that I want to talk to you about, some statistics about psychotic depression that I think are really important to educate myself as well as to educate you. So 0.4% of the general population will develop psychotic depression in their lifetime. So that means that out of all of us, out of every 1,000 people, 4 people will develop psychotic depression during their life. So it's not super low, right? That's quite a few people. Among people with major depression, 10 to 12% of women will experience psychotic symptoms at some point in time. So that's quite high, right? So about 1/10 of women with experience of depression will develop or experience some kind of psychotic symptoms. In psychiatric inpatient units, up to 40 to 50% of depressed patients show psychotic features, right? So that's a lot higher. When we look at that kind of more severe end of the spectrum, so people who need more intense support in an inpatient unit for a specified amount of time, we see that of the people hospitalized for depression, nearly half of them experience psychotic symptoms. Psychotic depression gets more common with age. So the older we get, the more vulnerable we get to psychotic depression. And a family history of mental illness, any type of mental illness, increases the likelihood of someone experiencing psychotic depression by about 70%. So that's a huge increase, right? For me, depression and other types of mental health conditions were prevalent in both my paternal as well as maternal side of the family. Up to 80% of individuals who develop psychotic depression experienced a severely stressful or traumatic event or events in the lead up, so in the year previous to them developing their psychotic depressive episode. So there also seems to be a large role for life circumstances. So it's not all genetics, but it's very likely an interaction of genetics, life circumstances, other variables that lead to the experience of a condition like psychotic depression. Psychotic depression is also more disabling than non psychotic depression. It's often still classified as more severe, and there is a significantly greater functional impairment for people experiencing psychotic depression as opposed to depression without psychotic features. Despite its severity, psychotic depression is often missed or misdiagnosed. So it might be misdiagnosed as stress induced psychosis, as was the case initially for me, or depression without psychotic features, or it might be diagnosed as schizophrenia. Psychotic depression seems to share characteristics with both depression and depressive disorders, as well as schizophrenia and psychotic disorders. Research indicates that it sits closer to the depressive end of the spectrum, most likely. These days, I am fully recovered. I have no remaining psychotic, no remaining depressive symptoms.